Oh yeah! I like that. That was great.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Today we have Michael Plummer joining us.
Howdy.
I like the howdy.
Thanks.
It feels
Those southern roots.
well, very much with all the Texans that are now here. Very apropos.
I'm just trying to fit in.
That's all I ever try to do.
Right? I just want to be involved.
We're going to continue. This is week 3, I believe, of our army painting. The couple of members of staff here, Schick, Pagani, you, and I are painting up new armies, 800-point Legion armies. I got some ATSTs.
Today I've got some Phase 1 clone troopers.
And you are going to do some sponge painting?
I'm going to do some sponge painting. So I was looking at some painting tutorials, trying to find a quick way to paint my clone troopers because there's a lot of them. And I found this guy that was doing sponge painting on them, and it looked really neat. It looked pretty simple, but I've never tried it before, so this could be a miserable failure, and I could be repriming tonight. Or it could be brilliant.
I love it.
Or it could be somewhere in the middle, and that's fine too.
I've never thought to sponge paint white armor. Like you talking about it, and like earlier when you were talking about it, I started getting some ideas of how I would approach it. So I want to see how you approach it, and then see how it looks like. Because I'm excited to see this. I think
maybe you can help me improve my my technique if it doesn't work out.
My technique would be like 50 layers of sponge of different colors.
That's probably what mine's going to be too.
That's exactly what's going to happen. So let's kick it over to the minicam. We're going to start on you, and we're going to kick it to the minicam, and we're just going to start painting.
Great. So I've got some makeup sponges here that I stole from my partner, and I've mixed up some Vallejo German Panzer Gray Surface Primer, which is the primer I used on these, with a little bit of white surface primer. Right now it's about a 1-to-1 ratio. And we're just going to try and get some layer gray on these plates. And the idea is that as you sponge them, you're going to leave those dark lines because you don't have a brush to get in there.
Right.
And so I've got my paint mixed up. I put some on my sponge, loaded it up, and then I got as much of the paint off as I could because I'm really just looking for thin layers here. And I'm going to try and build the white up slowly. And that's why I'm using that gray that is sort of a 50-50 mix.
So you're really aiming. So even though you're sponging, you're not just going in all ham-fisted.
I'm not really much of a ham-fisted painter. I like to build up my colors.
Yeah.
I'll often put a brown beneath a gold, or I'll put an orange beneath a yellow, because I think that when I layer them, you can kind of see the warmth underneath, and they come together in a different way. And a lot of people think I'm crazy when I do it, because you're not going to see that color. Why would you put it in there? But you do build up layers of color, and you can tell the difference, or at least I can, or I feel like I can.
No, you're not wrong. That's how when I'm training a studio painter, it's kind of the same thing. We very much approach it with layers and layers and layers of color. Even like a traditional 2D artist, if you watch videos of them, they'll come in like, they'll paint skin green, and then they'll add in purple, and then they add in this umber, and then they add in this, and then they keep going up the scale, and that green is still residing in there and catching the eye. It makes it look more realistic. And you're doing the exact same thing that a professional painter would do, so you're on the right track. Don't let them tell you you're crazy.
Well, I mean, it can't be too crazy if it works, and it looks like this is actually working very, very well. I'm surprised how well it's working. So looks like maybe this won't be so hard after all.
I mean, I'm excited because I've been painting my clones the long, hard, difficult way.
I would be lying if I didn't tell you that watching you paint your clones, was paint your clothes. But we were talking about that before, about how you buy a new pair of pants and there are immediately paint marks on them.
Literally right before we had start, we were talking about like everything of clothes I have is just not covered. Tony's here, and I'm gonna spoil that Tony's here and doing stuff. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what he's doing either.
He's clicking some buttons.
Taking off these nameplates that are floating in the middle.
Oh.
Helping us out with our technical issues.
Were you like yelling at me over chat, and I'm like ignoring you because I'm painting?
It was easier just to come in and do it.
That's the way I say. Just come in and do it.
Just get in there.
Bye, Tony. Thanks, Tony. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody say thanks, Tony.
Tony Konachak.
One of the good ones.
Literally.
Literally. Love that guy. What are you working on today? Your ATSTs. What's are you like at the beginning? What did you do with those so far?
I spent the morning airbrushing them, and I laid on about 5 layers of airbrush. Because just like you, right? It's the same thing, right? There's all this variation tonally that I want to capture, and even if I paint over it, the eye will still grab it.
Yep.
So I wanted to put in some colors. Like if you look at many of the references of ATSTs from the movie stills, there's this like yellow in there, a bit of yellow, and the color itself is like a green gray. So I just laid several colors on with the airbrush just to create a bunch of tonality. And now I'm coming in with my brush work and deepening the shadows, and then I'll do highlights, and then I'll do scritches, and then I'll do weathering, and
That sounds like a lot of fun. I got a little ham-fisted with my sponge there, trying to do this belly plate, and the gun was in the way. So now I'm just going in with a brush and fixing it up.
clean it up.
And when I went a little ham, I covered up some of the dark between the 2 plates on this guy's chest. So I just went in with a line of my Panzer Gray, and I just painted in that line now because I'm impatient and because I will forget later.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm like, even though this is a step way later,
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and do this because I will forget
I'm going
later.
to do this now so I don't forget.
I have totally forgotten.
The story of my life.
And there's no worse feeling than painting something and then going up to somebody and being like, "Yeah, you got some notes?" And they're like, have you considered doing this on this part? You're like, oh my God.
I sure did, and then I didn't do it. The worst for me is when I finish painting a mini, quote unquote finish, and I take a picture of it because I'm going to post it on Twitter or whatever, and I'm so excited. And then I look at that picture in glorious 4K, and I know like the 2 or 3 things I forgot to do, and in my brain I'm done, but I'm not done.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been
Like every time I paint a mini, that happens.
Oh, everybody's saying things, Tony.
Oh, good. Good. He deserves it.
A release, everything will be released when they get released, when they're ready. It's never good to pull the cake out of the oven before it's done baked.
That's what I'm saying. You can't eat the cake before it's done. You can. You might get sick. No one wants that.
I mean, I'm not saying you should, but I definitely think cookie dough is better than cookies. But,
Well,
you know, I'm a monster.
I mean, rules are meant to be broken.
It's true. We talk about this a lot in the studio. It's like, you got to understand the rules of art before you can break the rules of art. Because when you break the rules of art is when you make real art.
I like that. I don't know anything about art. That's not entirely true. I took some
That's
art
not
history
entirely
classes. I loved art history when I was in college. I almost double majored. But I don't know a lot of, I guess fancy art words for color theory and all that good stuff.
Like hue and value?
Yeah, like I don't understand what any of that means. And I'm lucky I've gotten the chance over the years to talk with some great painters and to pick up some tips. And a lot of the times I just have no idea what it means. And I try and look it up. I try and figure it out. It doesn't really mean anything to me. So I kind of have my own vernacular around painting at this point, and I just kind of have to deal with that.
That's all right.
Yeah. I mean, as long as I understand what I'm saying, it's fine. And, preferably the person I'm telling. Because if I'm telling someone about painting, I mean, I want them to know what I'm saying, right? But
I mean, words are just made up. It's all nonsense.
all words are made up. That is a famous Dallasism.
They're all just nonsense. Just nonsense.
I am really excited about how this is turning out.
Yeah, I want to see the end result. I'm like, if painting white can be difficult for some people. So, anytime you find a shortcut to success, it's always worth exploring.
Totally, and that's one of my big things with painting. I paint a lot of minis. It's just kind of what I do in my downtime. It's what I've done since I was a kid, and it just kind of helps me decompress from the day or whatever. And a lot of it is just tricks over the years. Like, oh, this is a way I know to paint white, and it looks pretty good, and it's not fancy, but it's quick and it's done, and that's great. Like that's, you talk all the time about choosing the destiny of your miniature, and my miniatures are destined to be finished. So if something doesn't look perfect, that's okay. I can go back and I can touch it up if it's really bothering me, because I do get a little hyper focused on the mistakes. But sometimes I just let them sit, and sometimes your mistake is what makes something cool happen. Like you get some brown somewhere, and you're like, oh, well, I could do some dirt on these legs. That's really cool. And you put it together, and you're like, yeah, that looks great, and I never would have done that if I hadn't screwed up. So.
I watched that Jackson Pollock movie. We all know how mistakes make you famous.
Oh, yeah. Or miserable.
Or miserable. Well,
sometimes our mistakes make us miserable, and that's okay too.
Or miserably famous, or famously miserable.
But I think the most important thing is that you always learn from them, right?
Yep.
I've definitely had my fair share of things where, I went online and I watched someone, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks really easy, that looks really cool, I'm gonna try that, and then I do it, I'm like, I shouldn't try that yet. Or I should try that again, and I should get better at it. And that really just depends on where I'm at. Because sometimes I just want to paint something the easy way, the way that I know is going to look good and that it's going to be finished. And sometimes I want to try something new and exciting and see what I can do, push myself a little bit.
It's like a failing, right? It's like that's how you learn.
Yeah.
I told my kid a long time ago, you don't learn by winning.
Nope. Try, fail, try again. Which is an old acting thing. A little Stanislavski method.
Yeah. See, that's art.
See, that's true. That's true. I guess I do know quite a bit about art. I used to be an artist in a more classical sense. Now my biggest grabs at art revolve around these tiny little miniatures.
Little tiny army
Of cool
miniatures.
Star Wars people.
I mean, what better way to spend a Sunday?
Dallas, it's Wednesday.
Or Wednesday. You can't tell me my reality, sir.
That's true. That's true. And I do paint on Sundays a lot, actually. Sundays are one of my big days. Saturdays, I usually have plans with friends or something else set up. And Sunday is kind of my day to sit at my table, paint some minis, watch a movie, whatever it is.
I promised myself I was going to paint last night. I totally did not.
Oh, no!
I totally did not.
I have painted every day for about the last week, which is pretty good for me. I tend to get in ruts. If something's just not finished or whatever, I'll just be like, I guess I don't want to work on it. But what I have done recently that has helped me a lot is I found out that it's a lot easier for me to finish a mini than it is for me to start a mini. So my painting session doesn't end whenever I finish the project I'm working on. It finishes when I start the next project that I'm going to work on. And that has been helping me, because the next day when it's time to paint and I'm feeling like, ugh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to start something, I can just pick up something that is, a third done or a quarter done. And I'm like, oh, that's already started. Well, I guess I can finish those base coats. And then once that's done, I'm just off to the races and it's time to paint.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I love having like several different things on the table. And if you get stumped, you just kind of roll with it. And you're just like, well, I'm just going to, like, this is like a lot of times I tell people, right? Like, how do you get good? Well, you got to get good like by painting every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, well, some days I don't feel like it. How do I find my motivation kind of questions, right? If you just sit down and paint for 15 minutes, just be like, I'm going to paint for 15 minutes. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to paint for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, an hour later, you've been painting for an hour.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this might be a little harsh, but I mean, motivation isn't always going to get you there because motivation goes away. This is the thing that I've said for years, and I'm really bad at following it, but I do think it's true, is that motivation will get you started, but discipline is what's going to get you through. You need to set that time. Like if you really want to get good at painting or you really want to finish a project, you need to say, I'm going to paint for 1 hour every day, and I'm going to do it. And you don't make excuses around it. You schedule it, you put it in your timer, you tell your partner like, hey, after dinner tonight, I'm painting minis for an hour. And you just do it. And eventually it'll get done because painting an army is just like eating an elephant, one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Well, it's just like when I get asked like how do I become a miniature painter? How do I become a professional miniature painter? We got to paint every day, and it's not about inspiration, right? If you want to be a professional anything artist,
Professional anything. Let's just say
anything,
professional
yeah.
anything.
You can't wait for the muse,
Nope.
right? You got to control the muse. You got to come in there and you got to be like, today's the day I do this, and I'm doing it, and it doesn't matter how I feel, because it's got to get done, right?
Yep.
That's why I typically don't say I'm an artist. I mean, I don't paint studio miniatures anymore, but as a studio painter, I never claimed to be an artist because I didn't have time to be artistic. I had deadlines, right? You know, just like, you know, development. You have deadlines, right? So you want to do it right, but you can't just sit there and ponder the realities of the universe. You got to do the work. You got to put in the time. You got to ask questions. You got to, you can't wait for inspiration. You got to create inspiration, I guess is the way I want to say it.
Yeah, and I think another big thing is like you can't wait for perfection either.
No,
Like,
I control my craft. The craft doesn't control me.
yeah, and this is the thing that I fall into a lot, especially with minis painting, is like, oh, I'm not going to paint, Anakin Skywalker until I'm a little bit better because I want to make sure that they look really good. And the truth is that if I'm going to be trying anything new, if I'm going to be stretching myself, it's not going to look good, especially not the first time, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to do it over and over and over again. And, again, it goes back to that same thing you said, like knowing the destiny of your miniature. Like, are you trying to get better while you're painting this, or are you trying to finish? Because if you're trying to finish, you should do what you know, that you know is going to look good, that you're going to be happy with, that's going to put your miniature at a standard that you're happy with, that you're pleased with, that's going to look good on the table, and move on with your life. But if you're trying to improve, I mean, for me at least, I grab some junker minis because let's be honest, we all have hundreds of them sitting in our closet. So something that's not planned for an army, something that I picked up just because I really like the minis, like a bunch of separatists that I have at home that I'm not planning on starting an army for just yet, but I'm sure I will. But I got to get through my rebels and my clones first. And I'll just throw out some of them and say, okay, well, I'm going to try, today I want to practice painting green. So I'll paint something green. And, I'll say I want to do like 3 or 4 different shades in there and try and make that work. And then sometimes they look great, sometimes they look terrible. And if they look great, I'll put them aside and I'll do something else that way later. And if they don't, that's okay too.
I always say that's why you have second faction.
Yep. The practice faction.
That's the practice faction. I'm going to try this technique on this guy because I'm going to learn something and I'm going to apply it to my main character and my main faction, the one I take to the game store.
I'll do this after I know it looks good.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually working out really well. I'm pretty excited with how this is going so far.
Oh yeah, Hurricane Girl says paint a lot of miniatures during lunches. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lunchtime painting.
Absolutely.
You got an hour. I mean, throw a burrito in the microwave, start painting.
Yep.
There's 2 minutes. Get the burrito out, wait for it to cool. There's 20 minutes.
Yep.
Like, eat the burrito, get back to painting. You only wasted 2 minutes eating the burrito.
That's right. I actually at home, because I work from home several days a week, I have a little tray off to the side, like a fast food tray. And it's got some minis that I'm working on, it's got a little cup of water and some brushes and the paints that I'm using, and I just keep it behind my desk so that when it is time to eat lunch or whatever and I need something to do, I can just turn around, grab my tray, throw it on my desk, paint some stuff, and then when I'm done, I don't have to put anything away. I just close my paints, cover up my palette so that the paint doesn't dry, and put it back. And then the next time that I'm ready to paint, I can just turn around and grab the same thing and the project is still going right where it was. I don't have to reset everything up, because that's another thing that used to throw me off was, resetting up my paint station every time because I don't have a lot of space. So I've found sort of little safe havens where I can leave my paint station and let it travel with me rather than feeling like I have to set it up and tear it down every time I want to do anything.
Oh yeah, I love those. I love reading people's little portable paint stations that they create. Right, just a little pocket, if you will, for lack of a better term, paint station that they carry around to work or whatever. Those are fantastic.
In my living room, it's a little TV table that sits by my couch and my coffee table. So that when we watch a movie, or we're watching through Rebels again right now, so every night we'll watch an episode of Rebels and I'll pull out my paints and get to it. And there's 30 minutes right there, guaranteed.
Yep, just 30 minutes, right there, knocking out some miniature, trying out some new technique.
Yep.
You know, I practice freehand like that. Like, if I have a freehand idea on something and I really want it to look good, I'll get like a piece of paper or plastic card,
Yep.
and I'll put on a movie, like something I really know back and front that I don't really need to be looking at, and I'll just sit there and draw the freehand over and over and over and over and over, because then it just becomes second nature, and then I can commit it to miniature later.
Freehand is the thing that I have not really gotten myself to try. Whenever I do it, it looks really bad, and I don't have the patience to do the work to get good at it. So I've just kind of accepted it as one of those things that I'm not going to be doing. And that'll probably change at some point, but for now, it's on the back burner.
Everybody's asking about RRGs. I don't have that information.
I don't have that information either. But
The
they're
cake-
coming.
The cake is ready when it's ready, kids. Just ready when it's ready.
But we are just as excited to get it ready as you are.
Yep,
But you gotta get it right,
you gotta get it right. Well, it's in licensing right now, anyways.
right?
Not like we have control over that. How to make rust effects on ATST? Oh, there's several different ways we can do rust effects. We can just we can do like a wishy-washy kind of like two brushy technique and just kind of lay it in there, or we can go full chipping. If I were doing chipping on this ATST, I would probably look at doing the hairspray technique or salt technique, mainly because I airbrushed it anyways. And those two techniques lend to airbrushing. So I'd be looking at that. And then you just paint in the rust into those chits and holes and stuff. That's what I would do.
When I want to do rust and wear, I do an easy fix. I grab a little piece of foam, so something that's porous, like a piece of a sponge or whatever, and I cut it up. And then what I'll do is I'll start with like a dark brown, and I'll just stipple that on, looking a little sloppy, and then I'll go into sort of like I'll mix in some red with it and put that in there and bring it up to an orange. And it's not perfect. It doesn't look like real rust, but from the table, from like 3 feet away, looks great.
No, that's a great quick technique for rust, right? You just take a sponge, you sponge in some black or some really, really dark brown, and you sponge in some lighter brown, and then maybe hit a little silver around the edge with your brush.
Oh yeah, like right where it's starting to chip away at whatever paint or whatever. Totally.
That's good rust.
Yeah, and it's real simple. And I love simple.
That's a real good rust.
And the more advanced techniques are really just a build up from stuff like that too, right? Like you can learn how to do the bigger, better things by starting off with something simple like that, because it's the first step a lot of the time.
I need all the ATST striker or Searker. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, a lot of my day is just Dallas coming in and saying, "How many of these can I do? How many ATSTs? How many dewbacks?"
I need more dewbacks in my life.
Oh dear, my tile went off on
Uh-oh.
my keys, so my phone is ringing, despite the ringer being turned off. I am so sorry, chat. I lose everything, so of course I have a tile.
A tile?
Yeah, it's a thing for when you lose your keys. I once put my keys in the freezer, so my partner bought me a tile. I don't know.
I want to run like 3 or 4 ATSTs.
That would look great on the table. I love an ATST.
That's my dreams. And like, I need a reason to buy 6 dewbacks. I told,
Do you?
yes.
Do you need a reason?
Well, I need an ability to use
Okay,
a case of
all right.
dewbacks. These are the kind of ridiculous demands I make of development.
That is accurate.
No, they don't have to listen to my demands. Let's be clear here.
No, that's true.
But this is the kind of ridiculousness I come in. I'm like, I want 6 dewbacks. And everybody just looks at me and they're like, you can't take that. And I'm like, but why?
Or yet, and then you just walk out of the room.
Yet. 6 dewbacks. That's what I need in my life.
This is working really well, but these makeup sponges do fall apart very quickly, so I'm glad I brought several.
Yes, those things will crumble quick, don't they?
They sure do.
Crumbly brumblies.
But I am not complaining because it's doing what I want it to do. And when I'm done with this, I'll probably go in with some dark ink and ink in those lines because they are getting filled a little bit, especially on the helmets, because the recesses aren't quite as deep as they are around like a knee pad or a shoulder pad. So I'll go in and I'll do some ink to kind of draw those out, and then I'll go through and maybe do some colors on a shoulder pad or belt pouches, things like that, to add a little bit of variance to them. Go back, do the guns black. Should go pretty quick.
I like that. People are saying, case of dewbacks, that's for Grand Army roles and stuff. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. No.
You're still on the dewbacks.
Well, yeah. Look, you got me thinking about dewbacks and ATST armies. Like,
It's fair.
I'm stuck now in a loop.
You've also got me captive for an hour to beg me for 6 dewbacks.
That's true.
Yeah. Sponge painting.
Well, I don't think dewbacks will be a core unit. Y'all need to chill out on that one.
We're talking about Dallas's wild dreams here. We're not
Yeah.
we're not talking about something that's coming soon.
This is why I'm not in development. Or why people ask why I'm not.
Well, dewback fans especially.
Especially.
Why isn't Dallas a death?
It's true. Well, it's the math. Let's be real. It's the math that holds me back.
I mean, is it? Because
yeah.
I'm terrible at math.
Oh, see, C4 Darkmane says a Rain Corps army should be a thing. I totally agree.
I do too. That
totally
sounds
agree.
great. When I was a kid, the Rancor was my favorite thing in Star Wars. I used to watch that scene in Return of the Jedi just over and over and over again. I loved it. I could not get enough. And I loved Gamorreans. I loved that whole Jabba's Palace thing.
And the Rancor handler, Malaliki, like, that guy's got a cool job, man.
He does.
He's just like, I have a giant lizard monster as my pet friend.
I mean, I imagine it's a lot like working in a doggy daycare, right?
Yeah, he gets up every morning. He's just like, today I gotta go feed the Rancor.
Yeah, I'm gonna get kisses today. I love when a dog just runs up and is just so excited to see you and just kissing your face. I just imagine the Rancor doing that, and it makes me happy.
Just a big, not so floofy Rancor pet.
Yep, just a big slobbering monster. It's coming to get you.
Who's a good lizard beast? Who's a good lizard beast?
Are you hungry?
No, I don't think Ewoks get to ride dewbacks. I don't think that's canon.
I don't think so. I mean, I think it would be biologically possible for an Ewok to ride a dewback. They're the right size, maybe a little small. Just tumble right off.
Ewoks only ride one thing.
Speeder bikes. Another one of my favorite scenes from Return of the Jedi that I watched over and over as a kid because I was in that age where I was like, Ewoks are great.
This is like that's just an out of control like cuddle bear, right? He's just like, oh, there's a bike here. I'm just gonna steal it.
Oh, that's for me. Here we go.
That's mine, claimed.
Jam this in here a little bit and try and get these belly plates. I think the next unit that I do of these, I'm gonna leave the gun arms off and paint them separately so I can get to these chest plates because they're giving me fits over here, Dallas.
Well, Luke Zors 92 asked, "What is being done to these clones?" They just tuned in and they would like to know what you're doing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm doing some sponge painting on these to try and grab the arbor plates and get them into a nice little, white without doing too much brushwork here. Right now, obviously, I'm using a brush, but that's because I can't get to this guy's chest because his blaster is in the way. But I'm just using some makeup sponges, and I've ripped them in half, or I cut them in half nicely with scissors, actually, because if you tear them, they'll get all chunky like they are now. And I'm using a couple of primers and mixing them together to bring it up from a nice dark gray, which is in the recesses, and we're gonna go up to white. Probably the next one I'm gonna do some mostly white.
So how many layers have you done so far?
This is my second
Second
layer, and they're looking
Nice.
pretty good. And we've been at this for what?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Can Michael Plummer paint a full unit of clones, phase 1 clones, in 1 hour?
I mean, the answer is no,
The answer is
because I'm not going to get to belts and accent colors and things like that. But I'm going to get them to a really good spot where maybe I'll be able to finish this unit this evening while I watch my episode of Rebels.
somebody asked what I'm doing, and Dory Wildstar says, what is Dow's working on? And Seerker 911 says, unfortunately, not 6 dewbacks.
I mean, that's true, but it is 2 ATSTs, and
It's 2
that is
ATSTs.
also kind of the best.
The more big robots or big monsters I can take, 100% the better.
That is a recipe for Dallas satisfaction.
Deep down inside, I'm a tread head.
Yeah, I mean, you always like the biggest mini,
The
right?
big-
Like every time, if I show you something, you're like, "What's that one?" I'm like, "It's the big one, Dallas."
Yeah. Yeah. It can be a skirmish game. Like, this game takes 4 miniatures to play. Dope. Can I play the 4 biggest miniatures together?
That's all you need.
Like, I don't know. Table presence.
Oh
I
yeah,
like table presence.
you
What
just
can I
want it
say?
to look cool.
Yeah.
I'm there with you.
I don't do infantry spam. I'm not here to paint 50 of the same guy. I mean, I totally do.
I do too,
And I
all the
totally have.
time.
But like my heart of hearts always wants, I need more vehicles. I need more big guns. I need more stompy.
All right, here we go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this white layer on this guy here. We're gonna see if we can get it done in 3 layers.
You're gonna
and
go
have
for 3 layers.
We're gonna go for 3 layers because I want this to be quick. And we got there. I'm super happy with this.
Hurricane Girl says, I've always been a fan of trucks in miniature games, even if the trucks have legs.
Oh yeah,
Hurricane Girl gets it.
yeah.
Here, I'll click it over to some ATST action. I haven't. We'll put it back on you in a moment.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
You're doing something way more interesting than me.
Am I?
Yeah, I mean,
You have ATSTs.
yeah, but I'm doing like little fiddly, like darken the line kind of stuff
Sure.
that no one is gonna.
This also gives me a chance to pull out my pre-finished clone. It's not true.
Oh, like a baking show.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're gonna bake this for 3 hours at 375.
And
Ta-da!
when it comes out of the oven, it'll look just like this.
Always that version you did before the show.
I wish that was true because that would mean that I would be sitting on a unit of finished clones. But I'm not.
You are not.
I am definitely not.
We're doing it live, kids. We're doing it live. Oh, I mean, we're doing some painting off.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing more of these tonight.
Oh, do I have double mic going on? Why do I have double mic going on? That doesn't make sense. We'll go back to Plum. Is that better? Oh, I can't sing on stream. I'm not allowed.
You're a great singer though.
I mean, I get too loud.
I mean,
Get too carried
that's
away.
true. I still enjoy it.
Michael Plummer does not like karaoke.
I abhor karaoke. It
But-
is one of my least favorite things in the world. But I will go with you.
Yeah. I love surprising a bar.
Yeah,
Or a crowd.
I love watching you do it.
Me breaking stuff, I've totally climbed on top of a table at karaoke. I'm just saying.
I wasn't there for that, but I don't doubt it either.
Look, I'm there to put on a show. Whether you want it or not.
Whether you want to see that show, that's a different question. All right, so this one, this is where I'm going to call it good, just for me, so folks can hopefully see this. So this is 3 layers of sponging on a Phase 1 clone, and yeah, it looks pretty good actually. Pretty happy with that. So
It's
see if I can get these other ones
really
finished.
well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not perfect, it's not gorgeous white, but it's white, it's armor. I'll probably go in and after I paint the bases, do a little dirt splatter on the legs that'll let this kind of ruddiness to the white make even a little more sense.
I always like putting that warmth down around
Yeah.
the calves and ankles and right up to the knee,
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit of warmth on things with white armor, right? It gives that.
Lived in look.
Yeah.
Because you can't walk around in armor that looks like this and not get dirt on it. If I can't wear a pair of pants for 10 minutes without getting orange paint on them, I know a clone trooper can't walk through the desert without getting sand on their armor.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we all know sand gets in everything.
It's true.
That's a Star Wars fact.
It's true. It is covered in depth. Ooh. All right. Well, this is not working so well on this one, and I think it's because I didn't wipe off enough of my paint.
Are we a little too heavy on that?
Yeah, I was a little too heavy on this one. He looks a little funky, but I think
that's
that's okay.
okay.
I think I can fix it up with a brush later. Go in with some grays and clean up these lines, because that's really all you can screw up on this with this technique is you get paint where it shouldn't be.
Yep.
And since you're painting white, you can just go back with the other color and put the color you need there, and it'll be fine. But using my thumb as a palette, as I often do, you can usually tell what I was painting the other day based on what color paint is on my hand still. Because the paint sticks, and I'll wash my hands, and I won't scrub them enough, and then I've got like little line of blue back here.
I totally went to lunch the other day, and there's paint all over my thumb, and the feller there at the counter was just like, "Hey, Dallas," and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's just like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to your thumb?" Like he thought I smashed it on something. I was like, "Oh no, that's paint." He's like, "Oh, it looked really bad," because it was like purples and magentas.
Oh,
So
no.
it looked.
Yeah, it looked bruised and all messed up.
Yeah, it looked like it was wrecked. And first it made me feel good that he was concerned. That was
Yeah.
nice.
Well, they're real nice over there.
Oh,
I
they're
know
super
exactly
nice.
where you went to
Oh,
lunch.
you know where.
Yeah, I know exactly where you went to lunch if they knew your name.
Yeah. Those guys are amazing. They treat us super good.
Too good.
Too good. Better than we deserve.
Oh, I mean, that's easy now. All All right, so we're at like a 50-50 happy with this technique. I'm sure I'll get better at it as the time goes on too.
That's a solid. I mean, I think it's pretty solid for the first attempt.
Yeah, and if nothing else, at least they're like in a good spot that I can go from, right? Like I can clean that up and I can move. And I got to remember, everything looks like garbage until it's finished.
Yep.
I often forget that, and I start feeling down on a paint job or something. And I just gotta remember, it's in the ugly stage. Until it's not.
There's always a massive ugly stage, right?
Every mini.
Every minute.
Every mini has the ugly stage, and I hate it because I get so discouraged by it. And I know better.
Just let that ugly stage, it'll guide you. It's there for a reason.
It is there for a reason. And it's not even really that it's ugly, it's just not done.
Yeah.
But there's also that moment when you get to
This is called the
leave.
rough stage.
The rough. You know what? I like that better. The rough stage. I'm gonna stop saying the ugly stage. There's always that wonderful moment though when it starts to look like it's kind of finished and you can see it, and that's why I paint minis. I paint minis for that moment when you can see what it's gonna look like when it's finished, even though it's not done yet. Because that is when I get that burst of painting adrenaline, I guess. And I'm just like, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna stay up until 2 in the morning and I'm gonna finish this.
Yeah, I agree. That moment, like that moment where you have an idea in your head, and you can kind of see it, and you start working on it, and you're playing around with colors, and you know you have to do this step before this step, and it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right, but it's always that end goal, right?
Yep.
And then once you get it done, and the image that was in your head is now on the table, and you can share it with your friends, and everybody's just like, "Oh, that looks really cool," right? That's the best.
I love showing off painted minis. I love showing people like, hey, this is what I just did. This is great. But really, sometimes I just sit at home and I'll go to I have a nice little case and I have a bunch of my painted minis in there, a bunch of my armies and stuff. I'll just stand there and stare at it.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'll stand there for like 10 minutes and sometimes my partner will come in and she'll be like, what are you doing? I'm just looking at my minis. Because, it's a lot of time that goes into painting these and you gotta enjoy them.
Yep.
And I don't always have time to play a game, especially because it's so much harder to schedule things nowadays.
Paint for yourself,
That's right.
unless you're getting paid. Then you paint for somebody
Then you
else.
paint for someone else.
That's just a different topic altogether.
I think a big part of it is just finding the joy in it. Like, what is the thing that you enjoy about painting minis? Is it that you get to play paint it because that's always great, or is it that you have a bunch of cool stuff to look at because that's a valid reason to paint minis too?
Well, if there's one thing I won't let anybody do is tell me what joy I have to extract from my hobby.
There you go. That's right. It is your hobby.
I mean, maybe my joy is just buying and collecting.
That's true. Some people don't enjoy painting the minis at all. So I'm cheating a little bit with the brush just to clean some of this up. I think these are going to look just fine.
That's not cheating.
Well, I mean, I guess it's cheating if I'm supposed to be sponge painting.
No, you're just accentuating the technique.
There we go.
You're diversifying.
Yeah. Oh no, too much paint. Too much paint. It's really easy to overload your sponge when you're doing this. So if any of y'all try this at home, just make sure that you get a lot of that paint out before you start dabbing. Because otherwise, it just goes into all the recesses really quickly, and yeah.
Are you finding it like dry brush? Like you're really pulling off a whole bunch?
Yeah, it's almost like dry brushing. It's not quite. You don't want quite that little paint, but it's this is not a heavy-handed thing. Be really easy to ruin this. And I'm also finding that dabbing the miniature, just like straight up and down, is working really well.
Like
rather than
stabbing to some
yeah, like a
extent?
stabbing motion, rather than trying to run it across anything is where I'm getting my best results. That second one that I was unhappy with, I was doing a lot of kind of side to side motion and lateral movement.
Yeah, a lot of times that's even how I dry brush.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of a dab, stabby motion.
You also get lots of fun textures that way.
Mm-hmm. Just vary things up, especially like when you're trying to create like we're talking like rust effects, right? Any sort of damage. You, as a human, typically try to create. What's the word I want to use?
We talk about
here?
patterns.
Yeah, you want to create patterns. We're very good at pattern recognition. Like this is just what human brains do very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's very hard to create not patterns, and so changing the handling of the brush will help you in that situation to create non-patterns when you're adding rust or damage or chips or whatever to a miniature. A lot of times, giving feedback on painted miniatures, I see bow damage a lot of time, and I use the word, it looks convoluted, right? And sometimes I get asked what that means, and it's like, well, all your damage is going the exact same way, right? It's just everything's moving the same direction.
Looks like you planned it.
It looks planned, yeah. So it looks convoluted. Like you got to break that up. You got to embrace the chaos. You got to embrace the, you got to ride the spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to embrace chaos.
One of the things that I really like to do when I'm painting, dirt or other detritus, something like that, rust, is I'll take a toothbrush and I'll dip it in paint and I'll put it near the miniature and just kind of run my thumb along the bristles to get that splatter effect.
Oh, yeah.
And you get like a real random splatter from that, because if I try and do it with a brush, I'll end up doing it in a pattern, some pattern that I've invented in my brain that I don't realize I have, and it always ends up looking exactly the same, and it's terrible.
Yep.
So, finding little things like that where you have to give up control. And that's scary. Especially when you're painting, because you want everything to look great.
Not me.
Well,
Let it be chaos.
what I was going to say is it's going to look great because you did it.
Because you did. You know what my favorite paint miniature is?
I don't.
You just finished.
You say that a lot, and I never know. I'm always like, I don't know, Dallas, what is your favorite miniature? And I was like, that one right there that you just finished.
That's my favorite one. I love that one.
I mean, done is good, right?
Done is good. Done's my favorite color.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Perfection's the enemy of, things getting done.
That's another one. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Like, that's a good paint job. Great. Don't ruin it by trying to make it perfect. Got it.
Look, I'll worry about perfection when the universe starts worrying about perfection. How's that?
All right. A big realization for me, honestly, and I'm like not trying to down talk myself, was just realizing that I'm never going to be that professional grade painter. Like when you look at painted minis and you're like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that's not going to be me, and not because I couldn't, because I absolutely could. I just don't want to spend that kind of time and energy on becoming that. I want to be able to paint my armies and have them look good and be happy with them. And occasionally I want to stretch myself a little bit and work on a character or a mini for a character that I really enjoy or something like that. And I'll put a little extra work in and it'll look better than most of my stuff. And that's good enough for me. I I think it's really important to kind of realize, like, what do you want out of your hobby? You don't have to be the best at everything you do. You just need to get to a point where you're pleased with it.
Well, some things just, I mean, being the best is such a weird thing for me, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Because first, you can't be the best forever.
True.
The only thing I can really be the best at is being the best me.
You are the best Dallas I've ever met.
That's right. And I have to be the best me because you know what? If I wasn't, somebody else would try and they're just going to mess it up.
That's right.
I don't want to be the best miniature painter. I just want to have fun and paint cool stuff. You know?
I also, like, I know I fail to realize this. I never really think about, like, how long it takes to paint that perfect miniature for one.
Boy, oh boy.
And I've got to paint like 35 of them.
Well, let me tell you. I can tell you about
I don't have that kind of time.
I can tell you about this.
So we're going to go in and finish up this chest plate with a brush, and then my armor is just about done. I'll probably go in at the end and do some like really sharp highlights on a couple like edge of shoulder plates, edge of chest plates, things like that with like just a really, really bright white. But for the most part, I'm actually really happy with how this worked. Go in here with some ink after this and clean up all these grooves and divots.
I think you said something there, right? And I've just been thinking about it. So it's like, I don't think a lot of people understand how long it takes to paint like a competition level miniature.
Oh, it's absurd. It is absurd. I mean, it's not, right? Like, it's good. People are good at it. People want to do it. That's great. For me, that's absurd. Like, in that kind of time, I need to be able to have painted 6 or 7 things because my backlog is huge and I only have so much time. Because as much as I would love to sit around and paint miniatures all day, there are a few people in this building that would have a problem with that.
Dear Wildstar, what answers are you wanting? Like, or maybe I just missed them. I've been painting. I've been in the zone. Plumber's talking. We're talking about painting.
Yeah, I'm talking a lot. I'm staring at my minis.
We're like in the zone.
So this is where I got. It's not bad.
That's not bad.
A little chalky, but that's okay. I can smooth that out later too if I want to. Even you know.
You
even if I was
need to
gonna,
go down just a little bit.
Oh.
You're not quite on there. Down just a little bit. There you go.
There we go.
Over. There you go.
Brilliant. Like even if I was planning to go over these plates like really carefully, this is actually really nice because it gives you some nice guidelines. Sometimes I like to put a wash down on a miniature before I paint it just so I can see where everything is. Mm-hmm. It's gonna work out. Just do some touch-ups for the rest of our time here.
It'll be almost goodbye time.
Oh, really? Not bad.
Oh, point changes and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's not that kind of stream, my friends.
Yeah. Gotta love things for what they are, not what you want them to be.
Hope everybody out there watching has some painting projects lined up for the rest of the week. Some minis they want to get done. Get their 30 minutes in a day or whatever it is that they want to do to meet their goals.
Get that 30 minutes.
Get that 30 minutes. I have to change when my 30 minutes is. Sometimes it's at night, sometimes it's in the morning before work. But I do try and get it in every day.
Yeah, Schick does his in the morning. I am definitely not doing mine in the morning.
Sometimes the mood hits me and I'm there. But most days, no. I don't really come online until about 10.
I mean, I'm on the road at 6:30.
Oh, I'm on the road and I'm here by
Yeah.
time, but I'm not full capacity until about 10.
So there's just no way I'm doing like 5 o'clock. No.
No.
Sharing community pics. I think we're back on for that pretty soon. That's a BK question. I think we're gonna get back into that. Me and Extravaganza everything kind of got tousled about.
Yep. We got busy.
It was a busy time. There's not a lot of us. Got a lot of work to do. So everything kind of got jostled a bit, but I believe the plan is to bring back the community paint job times.
I would love that because I love seeing those.
Oh, they're great. I mean, I always want to see what everybody's working on.
Me too. Sometimes I'll jump on Twitter and I'll just for an hour I'll just bounce around and like pop to someone. They're like, oh, okay, they look like a hobby person. What if they retweeted? I just love seeing painted minis.
Oh yeah, sometimes I jump on. I'll do the same thing on Twitch. I'll like incognito go check out Twitch painting streams of the games we make and lurk, check out what's being painted and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Sometimes I'll just paint alongside.
Sometimes I do that too.
Sometimes you need a friend to paint with and there's no one around. Painting's always better with a friend.
I do love hosting paint jams. I need to do that again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Pancakes and painting.
Oh man.
Those were the days.
Oh man, I do love that. Oh, see, Legion support units. Yeah, yeah. Now we're both just.
I know right now I'm all focused. I'm like, what do I have to touch up? What's going to look a little better if it's a little brighter white? And then I forgot that I'm on stream and I need to be talking.
Nah.
Or one of us needs to be talking. And just enjoy the silence.
Yeah, sometimes it's just painting.
I would be interested to know how many people in chat are painting along with us. If anyone. I guess a lot of people are at work, right?
I think some people's at work, yeah.
But maybe they're taking their lunch break to paint.
That's what I would be doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the nice thing about those, pocket paint stations too. Is you can set one up in your office.
Oh yeah.
And then it's a conversation starter.
Have your coworkers come in and be like, "What is this?
What are you doing?
You can tell them all about Star Wars Legions.
That's right.
I'm glad you asked, Carl.
It's really cool. I really like it when someone that I know that isn't a hobbyist asks me about my hobby. I love talking about it. I love sharing it with people. Yeah. And it's usually someone that just would have no idea. Because you got to think about it. This is a pretty niche hobby. A lot of people don't know about it. So they see what you're doing and they know Star Wars. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And you're like, yeah, I painted that. Like, wow, that blows me away. A great way to get people into the hobby and share your passions with people. It's got to start somewhere. might as well be with you.
It's like one of those be the change you want to see in the world moments, right?
Yeah.
It's like be a champion, be a spokesman, be a a good community member, and share the love of painting miniatures.
Back before COVID, I used to have people over to paint minis, and like sometimes someone would come that doesn't normally paint minis, and I'm not a genius or anything, but I love showing people what I know, and I'm saying like, hey, you're gonna put down some base coats, and let me teach you how to dry brush. Let me show you how to do a wash.
Next thing you know, they're in, right?
Next thing you know, they're in. Then they are painting more than me.
A positive attitude and an open heart will open many, many doors.
Indeed.
A long time ago, I used to do paint nights at my local game store, and every now and then you have somebody come in that they're stopping by for this, that, the other kind of game. Like a board game and they've never painted miniatures, right? They walk by and they see a couple people sitting there on a Monday evening,
Chatting, laughing,
having a good time, painting miniatures. And if you're open and accepting, next thing you know, that person might be there every week with you.
Yep.
Painting and growing, sharing the stuff they've seen and learned.
Teaching you something new.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to do it all.
That's the best. As usual, I went over
Of course we did.
because I'm the worst.
No, we just love painting.
We do. I would sit here and paint all day on stream, but I got other stuff I got to do.
I do too, actually. Yeah, I got a lot to do today. So.
I mean, I have a 2:00 meeting
Oh, I don't have that. So
that I'm in charge of.
let's get this rolling then.
Literally, I'm in charge of.
Well, just tell me your other meeting right
That's
now.
my
That's
meeting. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's art. It's an art meeting.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, they'll get it.
They'll get it. They're fine without me. They don't need me. I'm going to kick it over to this one. And so there you go. We did some painting. Plumber tried some new techniques.
Yeah.
I love how much paint you have on your hands right now.
This is my life.
That's
this is my life.
amazing.
Yep.
And these little clones look super
I'm pretty happy with them, honestly. Yeah.
for an hour. And
For
try
an
new
hour.
technique.
Yeah, maybe another hour, and these guys will be done. That's
You do
great.
your black wash over the guns and
Yeah, I'm gonna go back, pick out the guns in black, do some gray highlights on them, maybe do a glaze over that, just to kind of like tone it down a little bit, and I think they'll be good to go.
yeah, these are going to look great. I did not get very far at all. There's a lot to cover on an ATST.
There is.
And I'm trying to blend out every single shadow and highlight. So I blacked in the main colors with the airbrush, but now I'm going in, I'm blending everything. I want these to look nice and sharp. So these are going to take me a bit, but we have 6 weeks to build,
6 weeks.
and I still have 3 units of stormtroopers to paint.
I've got so many clones to paint, but I've also got 2 ATRTs, so I've got little mini walkers. I'm excited.
Man, I love clones and Empire.
I do too.
So thanks for joining us for another episode of Atomic Mass Transmissions Live.
Atomic Mass Transmissions Live.
Sometimes I forget the way.
That's
the
okay.
word.
I do too.
Join us tomorrow. I believe it'll be Pagani and I are going to throw down. Maybe I'll win my first stream game.
I'm not holding my breath.
I'm not either. I'm not going to win.
You know what? Now
always
you will.
try.
I'm
Always
rooting
try.
for you now. It's
Oh,
official.
thanks.
No worries.
I got Plumber on my side. What more do I need? And remember, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we stream at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So join in, check us out, have fun, and go out and be the change you want to see.
Cheers.
Go be heroes. Go be heroes.
Why not?
Let's be heroes.
Yeah.
We're going to go be heroes. I'm going to click this thing. This is the part where I'm on, like the bad transition.
Yeah, it's just the bad transition
I was
when we're
supposed to
talking
do
while the
this
thing ends. Yeah, I don't
and
know.
then I got to click that over.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Yep.
oh,
Oh,
we're
good to
saying
go.
goodbye now.
Bye, folks.